Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Better Call Kino, the one and only podcast on this channel where not two, but three people come together. Three beautiful, handsome, sexy men come together to talk about the latest episode of Better Call Saul. I am your host, as always, Mr. Mumkey Jones, joined, as always, by my lover, my secret lover, don't tell sheep over, Erich McCoy.
Is this a gay porn? Three men coming together? What the fuck?
Dude, that wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, if you've seen Boku no Pico episode 3, we're going to stand up on top of a building and put our dicks together like the Eiffel Tower and all come at the same time, and we're just gonna.
Beautiful.
Our guest today, you might recognize from the short film in my latest short film festival. It was called, I think, Big Boy Stops. What was it fucking called?
That's Big Boy Backtraces Bully. It'll serve you well to get it right next time, dude.
I just know it was 4 Bs, and it was one of my favorite films in the festival, and I went to your channel afterwards and saw that you do Better Call Saul reviews, and I thought, well, let's get this fucking guy on our show, and then it'll be a dual upload. I'll send you this audio file, and we can put these up on our respective channels at the same exact time.
Oh, nice. Dude, that's the dream.
Yeah, now you don't have to worry about re-recording your opinions on this 40-minute episode of a TV show.
Of course. And thanks for calling me handsome and beautiful. Best compliment that I've received in a few years.
Well, the thing is, though, I lumped you in also with me and Erich, so how good of a compliment?
I would have done the same.
It's all relative.
So, what are we calling you? Amber Alert is your YouTube name.
Yeah, if you can call me Christian is my real name. I don't give a fuck, dude. Not at all.
Well, Erich does not like Christians, so he does like Amber Alerts because it means that he got away with it. So,
if your name was Jew or Muslim, I would appreciate you.
Oh, right. No, Amber Alert's fine. Yeah, my Google account thinks my real name is Amber because that's the first word in Amber Alert. So it thinks I'm some girl named Amber.
Wow, sounds hot. I want to meet her.
It's kinda.
Speaking of hot chicks. This episode has some more hot Kim action, among other things that aren't so hot. Some things that made my roommate, you could say, sheep over, actually squirmed and looked away in horror.
Oh, God.
And now I'm hearing myself.
Gail dancing and singing?
Yeah. Who has me playing really loud in the background? Now I hear myself.
Okay, let me turn that down then.
Okay. So, Erich, what did you think of? What's this episode called? Something Beautiful?
Yes.
What did you think of Something Beautiful?
It was largely Something Beautiful. I think this episode does waste a bit of time with the stupid fucking guy hiding in the printer's copy shop thing, whatever it is. But otherwise, this was a very good episode. A lot of really good directing from Daniel Sackheim. I noticed a lot of cool shots and nice construction of scenes and stuff. But yeah, overall very good. And this is only amping up the season. So
see, I'm already I have to disagree with you. My favorite part of the episode was the heist of the Hummel. It was classic Breaking Bad. Simple crime goes wrong, and then just a lot of fun. Amber, what did you think of
I think I can potentially see that part, I guess, as the highlight of the episode, but I can see from both your points of view, it was kind of it was a very, very sudden transition to comedy that moment. I thought this was the best episode thus far. I thought this was, whereas the first 2 episodes of the season had, the first episode was, average on the whole. Second episode had great moments, but then slower moments that I thought were a bit subpar. This one was solid all the way through, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, this is my favorite of the season so far too. What about you, Erich?
I think I prefer the second episode a bit. Was the second episode the one where Mike was doing his bullshit?
No, that was the
With
first
Lydia?
episode.
That was the first episode?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, then it definitely is the second episode for me.
Do either of you recognize the man who went in to steal the Hummel?
That took me all episode to figure it out. I knew he looked familiar, but I didn't know from where exactly. I didn't know if I was recognizing the actor from something else, not that universe. But yeah, no, I do know who it is now.
Well,
I know
don't say it yet. Let's see if Erich...
don't say it. I don't know who it is. He was throwing off alarm bells in my head because I recognized the face, but I didn't quite know the guy.
Yeah. So I guess I'll spoil it for Erich. It was one of the guys working for Vamonos Pest, season 5 of Breaking Bad.
I see. Okay.
I recall in Breaking Bad, Saul said something like, I've been getting these guys out of legal hot water for 5 years now. And I'm like, oh, that kind of works out in the timeline. I mean, he technically just did that in this episode for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of the fans, they knew that like they expected him to show up because of that one line where Saul in Breaking Bad is like 5 years. So they did the math and they knew that, timeline wise he had to show up soon.
It would work, yeah.
Now,
Okay, cool.
speaking of comparing this show to Breaking Bad, I'm about to blow all of you guys' fucking minds and tell you why Vince Gilligan is a fucking hack and that this is bullshit. This is, and I can still hear myself, so you might want to turn me down in the background again.
All right.
We need to invest.
I can always just put on headphones, man. I can always put on my earbud headphones.
That would be the preferred method.
Mumkey, are you familiar with Bravo, Vince?
The meme of saying bravo at every little thing, yeah.
Yes, Bravo, Vince.
How many times did you say bravo in this episode?
At least 3 or 4 times.
Well, I'm about to give you the biggest bravo Vince of the entire series as soon as Amber is back and ready.
Right.
In the meantime, you could sing us the Better Call Saul theme song.
Bow, 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 and it cuts off.
Yeah, I like that it cuts off early. Are you back yet, Amber?
Yeah, that was beautiful, Erich. I love that.
Let me tell you guys specifically why Vince Gilligan is. What's his fucking name?
Vince Gilligan. He got it right.
I confused myself. I got confused about Gail's last name. I was getting Gail Bedecker mixed up with Gail Beneke, so I've been so confused lately. Like
that happens to me too. Yeah, Gail Bedecker, Ted Beneke.
Yeah, all these names are too similar. But season 4, episode 3 is what we just watched. The plot was somebody stealing a Hummel.
Oh, no.
Do you guys remember what happened in season 4, episode 3 of Breaking Bad? The same exact season and episode number?
Know, but I'm sensing some pottery going on here.
I don't know if it's pottery and not just lazy fucking writing, but episode 3 of season 4 of Breaking Bad is titled Open House, where Marie is going to all these open houses with fake identities and stealing shit. She steals like a bunch of spoons, but the very first thing she steals is one of these fucking Hummels. I shit you not.
Holy shit.
One of the same exact fucking Hummels. She takes it and leaves it on the nightstand next to Hank.
Fuck. No shit.
I swear to God.
That's got to be intentional.
I don't know. Maybe these fucking writers are so lazy. Let's think of something to steal. Oh, a Hummel. Oh, and it just so happens to be on the same episode, same season. Bullshit.
It's like go back. It rhymes.
Yeah, it rhymes too much.
Great pottery. They go back and they're like, you want fucking Breaking Bad? Well, here it fucking is.
We're gonna literally do the same plot on the same episode.
What did everyone love from Breaking Bad? It was definitely Marie stealing things.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I think everybody hated it in season 1, but they were like, oh no, we're gonna bring it back so it ties in.
Right.
Yeah, that's got to be what it was.
Well, because I mean, at least it fits. The show is called Breaking Bad, so it's okay when we see these characters do bad things. Mm-hmm. But when a show is called Better Call Saul and half the show has nothing to do with anybody calling somebody named Saul, it's just infuriating. At least Breaking Bad ties into Marie, whose husband is an officer of the law, Breaking Bad because things in her life make her want to steal things. At least it fits the theme of the show.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's a meta commentary, and it would have been better if we had called Saul.
Good one, man. Well, in a sense, the two shows are like. I get the feeling that these showrunners and the writers, they don't really know how to tell a story any different. They know that all they do, both of these series are just telling a story that is the descent of a previously good man, like his dark side comes out. It's the same show again, really.
Yeah.
It is, but we don't know. We didn't know how bad Walter would get. We know exactly where Jimmy's gonna go.
That's true, and and a lot of the stakes are eliminated then as a result of that.
But I mean, to me, that makes Jimmy's past more intrinsically interesting because, I mean, we did find out things about Walter's past, but we basically knew where he came from and knew the kind of guy he was. It's about who he became more than what he was. So I think Jimmy's is more of a tragic downfall.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jimmy seems a lot less in control of the situation, in general than Walter did. And that's why Walter, I felt less sympathy for him in general. I felt he was less of a victim. He was more responsible for his own downfall. Jimmy seems kind of, he has to act with complete respect to Chuck and now Kim, it seems like.
Right.
And speaking of the way Jimmy acts, we're really seeing a unique take on the grief process from Chuck's death, because in this episode, Erich, we were taking bets on whether or not we would ever see Chuck's letter and what it would say.
God.
We went on for at least half an hour with all these theories and all these crazy ideas. But in this episode, the very next episode, they say, fuck it, we'll just show it to you.
I was not expecting that at all.
No, I was completely blindsided because it came at the very end of the episode, and I was just wondering the entire time, are they actually going to do it? Like, I thought that they could, like, tease us, and then at the very end of the episode, to be like, no, I don't want to read it. But, like, he just so casually opens it up, and it feels like that this is the showrunners almost playing with us, that we thought that maybe it would be more huge than it, and it might be huge. It might be this like turning point on which Saul kind of rises possibly. But I mean, yeah, it to just be handled in the end of this episode like it is, that's a pretty fucking brave thing to do.
Yeah,
I thought.
They pulled something I would like to call a good Last Jedi, not to be confused with The Last Jedi. But
Good one.
Here we have a good version of that, where they subvert our expectations in a way that wasn't just like a huge blue balling, really. Maybe an emotional blue balling, but Amberler, what did you think of Jimmy reading the letter and his response, and Kim's response to it?
Well, yeah, it was, I guess, somehow pleasant slap in the face, that little moment, in that it was such a subversion of expectations. It was, I expected personally that, you know, he would read the letter. Jimmy would certainly read the letter, probably later in the season, sometime like after episode 6, 7, sometime toward the end. And I thought that the audience would not get any clue as to what the letter actually was.
Yeah,
and
we would just simply be him reading it, and you can only see his face reacting to it or something.
Exactly.
It'd be like a ghost story where we're never going to see what the piece of paper said.
Right.
Yeah. As it did play out, I think Jimmy's reaction to it, it's nothing too I mean, it's clearly just continuing the same kind of it's just driving the point home that he's not going to at the surface show any remorse or anything for what he did to Chuck. He's repressing all of it. Kim's reaction, I very much enjoyed to see that. When I was talking about the first episode on my channel and everything, I was like, I want to see Kim's reaction to Chuck's death, like her own personal reaction to it. And I think we saw part of that here with this reaction. She was reminded that Chuck, before the mental illness and everything kind of took over, that he had a genuinely kind side to him.
Guys, I have a supposition here, and that is that Rhea Seehorn, who plays Kim, is the best actor on the show, especially now that Chuck is dead.
I can get behind that. I thought Michael McKean was best, but I mean,
absolutely.
But yeah, Rhea Seehorn's great.
Have you seen interviews with the guy who plays Howard?
No, I haven't.
The way that he speaks in real life is he's 1000% different from his character. So just in terms of acting as if somebody, like acting in a way that you're not, he changes his tone of voice and his whole speech pattern and everything. I'm always shocked when I see an interview with him because I don't see Howard in that at all. But we don't see enough of him. Yeah, Kim's probably, up there. But I don't know if anybody's better than Bob Odenkirk. Come on.
No, I know Bob Odenkirk, man. I mean, just like Bryan Cranston after being on Malcolm in the Middle. It's like, how the hell could he do anything different than straight up comedy? Because Bob Odenkirk on Mr. Show is just like straight up comedy, and it's funny.
Right.
Yeah, I tip my hat to him, man.
Now I have a lot to dissect with this letter scene, folks. And first and foremost, I'll throw this out there because I've seen some rumors about this that I personally don't believe, but maybe one of you guys can elaborate on it. Before the letter scene, we see Kim sort of stressing out, and she asks her paralegal to take her to the courthouse, and we never find out why. We don't know why. Then we see her at the letter scene with Jimmy. And some are hypothesizing that Kim
it's not a real letter,
forged the letter, which I don't think that's true at all. But do you guys have any thoughts on this?
That would definitely explain why her reaction is just so like it is kind of over the top in the way that she is so like outwardly reacting, whereas Jimmy isn't at all. Like he is basically just reading this like any other piece of mail he would get. Whereas she, like, I mean, I understand that she knows stuff about his relationship with Chuck and how kind of fraught their brotherhood is, but it just seems like such a big reaction. And it's possible that just because she's handling all the stuff with his estate and stuff, that she would be the one to react as much as she does. But I can see that happening. I don't think it's as ridiculous as some people do.
I'm under the impression that that would be entirely idiotic. That's my opinion. There's just no way. There's no way she would do that. I mean, and first of all, I think that her reaction was visceral enough that it's pretty clear that it was too much of a visceral reaction for it to possibly be something that she knew she would hear.
Is she trying to spare Jimmy though? Like that would be my.
Well, I have two thoughts on the matter, Erich.
Yeah.
First of all, I think that the letter is authentically from Chuck because, as Jimmy states, it's not dated, which is sort of weird because Chuck is always such like he always looks for those details.
Fucking anal.
Yeah, so you would think he would date it, but whatever. Maybe that's not an important detail. What I'm trying to say is, clearly Chuck wrote this while Jimmy was still working in the mailroom. And
really?
Yeah.
You really think that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It wasn't a way to fuck over Jimmy another fucking time?
No, I believe that it was authentic. I don't think Chuck was trying to manipulate beyond the grave. I think this was written when Chuck and Jimmy were on good terms. Jimmy was in the mailroom where Chuck thought he belonged. He wasn't the chimpanzee with a machine gun trying to be a lawyer. Because Chuck thought that that's where Jimmy belonged, and he was very happy that he was no longer Slippin' Jimmy. Now he's mailroom Jimmy, and he was very happy about that. My other idea with this is, the reason why Kim is so emotionally torn up is not because she's sad about Chuck dying specifically, or like these brothers' relationship that used to be good. I think she is feeling guilt because she knows that it's her and Jimmy's fault that Chuck fell off the fucking wagon and had the emotional breakdown that led to his suicide. And this letter is a huge slap in the face saying, bitch, this is partially your fault that a man is dead.
Right, I would agree with that. And that's, again, where it kind of comes through that that's her personal reaction to having been partially responsible for it.
How much of it is really Kim's fault, though?
Her and Jimmy pretty much worked in collaboration to steal that case back from Chuck, and she knew about switching the numbers around. And in the courtroom scene, she was Jimmy's lawyer, trying to make Chuck look bad, and with the battery
Chuck
and shit.
has done underhanded things to Jimmy before. Like, it's not exactly
that's not how guilt works, Erich. You can still feel guilt.
Absolutely. But I mean,
she's feeling guilt because she's too good for this world. You know, that whole thing. I mean, remember what Howard said at the end of the first episode of the season? He was all like, you know, the court, you know, the bar hearing thing, that had nothing to do with Chuck's downfall. He said that you know, he got better after that. It's the insurance thing. That's what it was. And therefore it's partially Howard's fault and mostly Jimmy's fault, under my interpretation.
Right. I mean, but I think this reaction that Jimmy gives is basically like he's just moved on. Like, this is exactly what the kind of thing he expects. And like, Chuck could have written literally anything in that letter and he would have read it the same exact way.
Certainly, yeah.
It was pretty funny when Jimmy said something like, oh yeah, Chuck, he was a hell of a letter writer, huh? Anyway, what's for dinner? He just doesn't give a shit.
If I may say something on Jimmy's mental state, I hope
this is not the time or place for that. Please withhold your statement. Now go ahead.
Okay, I hope it doesn't turn into a 3-minute fucking tangent. Okay, so, you know, I believe that he hasn't moved on 100%. I believe that we will see some overt grieving soon enough.
This is a facade part.
It's, you know, he's trying to trick himself, of course.
Right.
The reason I believe he's acting as callously uncaring as he is because, and it harkens back to something that happens in Jimmy and Chuck's last interaction in the last episode of season 3. You know, what everyone remembers from that scene is, you know, Chuck's last words to Jimmy, you know, you never mattered to me. And of course that has a huge impact on Jimmy, but you got to also remember what Chuck says before that. He tells him, all you do is hurt people. You shouldn't feel bad about it. You should just embrace it. And so in that moment at the end of the first episode of the season, when Jimmy, you know, hears from Howard that he, you know, inadvertently, Jimmy was largely responsible for what happened to Chuck, for Chuck's doing what he did. In that moment, I get the feeling that something in Jimmy kind of did snap, and he realizes, well, I think Chuck might have been right, And also, at the same time, Chuck was an asshole. So I'm just going to throw my hands up in the air and say, fine, Chuck, if you thought I was a bad person, well, you're goddamn right I am.
Right. I mean, I feel like Saul was mostly born this day, where he now has carte blanche to do whatever the fuck he wants. Like, everything is handed to him on a silver platter because the thing that was keeping him back, Chuck, is now fucking dead.
This is giving me Vietnam flashbacks to all the threads during Breaking Bad of like, oh, this is the moment that Walt became Heisenberg, guys. I saw it in the thread last night. Somebody said when Jimmy walked past one of the Salamanca twins, his evil energy passed into Jimmy, and that's the moment he became Saul. Like, shut the fuck up with this shit.
When the energy was.
There's no one moment where the character becomes fucking. It's just gradual. That's why the show takes 5 seasons.
No, fuck you, Mumkey. If it ever was, it would be this like albatross hanging around his neck, which is his brother. Like the only person who can really call him on his shit, like whether rightly or wrongly, this dude who is basically the outline of what the lawyer should be is now gone.
Yeah.
And the family and the basically he has spent so much of his life caring for his brother. Like even though his brother showed him almost no fucking kindness or no remorse for how shitty he was to him, like that is now gone. Like everything that was keeping him the way he was is fucking done.
I said that for about 5 minutes in the first episode of the season, Erich. I'm just saying to make a black and white statement of that's the moment he became this. I think it's really silly. There's so much. It's just gradual grayness in the show. Come on.
But what has he shown so far that it isn't?
He's been slipping Jimmy his whole fucking life.
No, but he's always had Chuck to bring him back.
So
that's true. If there is a particular moment maybe that is most indicative of a transition to Saul Goodman or whatever you want to call it, I think that would be so far that moment at the end of the first episode. But it's still, you can tell that his schemes and his scams that Jimmy's pulled from season 1 to now have gradually gotten more Saul Goodman-esque in how morally gray they are.
So I don't think Kim could keep him from being Saul. I think Chuck is the only one who could do that.
I think that the writers already tried to do this. Do you guys remember season 1 of this show, Better Call Saul? They did not know if they were going to get a season 2, so they needed the season 1 finale to also be the possible series finale. And the final thing Jimmy ever says is, I had all that money in my hand and I just gave it away for no reason. In the future, if I get the chance, I'm gonna keep Breaking Bad forever. And then he drives off like while Highway to Hell plays or some stupid shit. Like there's so many moments that you could say, oh, that's when he became Saul, and I think it's just a silly thing to say.
Yeah, well,
only one of us could be right.
No,
it's either this or you're right.
Yeah, well, I guess so. Okay, we talked about the letter. We talked about the great Hummel theft. Should we talk about the 80 minutes of torture porn?
I mean, I think this episode begins really great with the road spikes, I guess, being set up, and then the car being wrecked there, and like I was kind of shocked. Like I should have known this was happening, but like when they fucking shot Nacho, I was just like, holy shit, I guess they are committed to this. Like they are trying to make it look real. So I think all those moments were well photographed and were tense enough, and I just thought they were well done.
I love that fucking shot at the end of that cold open, the flaming car in front of the sunset. That looked great.
Oh man. Okay. these fucking twins. The goddamn meme with the Salamanca twins is that they blow shit up and walk away, and they did it again in this episode. Again,
dude, what would you?
The neck of the Salamancas, like they are just going to be what they're going to be. Like admire it. The episode does it well.
No, I mean, yeah, the episode's great. I'm just saying, I'm sick of this fucking meme of these two cool guys don't look at explosions,
dude. If you were in their position, it's fan service, it is. But if you were in their position, would you not do the same thing?
I just don't like the characters existing in the first place. I wish I could write them out of Breaking Bad because it's so stupid.
If there were any characters that I would say are unrealistically, caricatures of action movie characters, it's them.
Yeah, it is. Stupid, it ruins the realism of my lay epic meth show. Too bad.
You know what? I got nothing on that. You're right.
Yeah, Mumkey prefers it when Jesse is yelling, "Magnets, bitch!"
How's that unrealistic?
I didn't think that part was realistic at all. That they could like use a giant magnet to like go around a police station and wipe hard drives.
Well, I mean, that's just like it's a heist,
think
and
it happened.
scientifically it works.
Yeah, I think
I don't know if scientifically it works.
I think all the different if there's one umbrella term for them across both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, like all the schemes that the characters pull, I generally thought that I don't think there is one that was unrealistic, one that couldn't have happened if a genius orchestrated it.
Yeah, I mean, these people put in like the scientific research into all this stuff that they do. The writers behind the shows. I'm just on like a character writing level. I think that the twins have remained to be so cartoony that it takes me out of the show. But it's fine because it's fine. I just thought it's funny that yet again they blow something up and walk away.
But I would understand and like agree with a lot of your criticisms about the twins if they were like majorly impacting the show. They're really not. I mean, they're mostly just there for.
They've had more screen time in this show than they did in Breaking Bad already.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's the moment that it became too much for me. It was not the moment at the end of that opening scene that they walked away from the car. The first time I've ever seen, or I've ever felt like, okay, that was just silly as fuck. First time that ever happened with the twins with me was when at the end of the vet scene. After Jimmy's in there, and then one of the twins, whoever it is,
standing there.
He walks in, and he just comes up to the receptionist, and the camera just slowly pushes in on him,
right?
And he's just silent. Like that's just like, come on, that was silly as fuck.
Yeah, these characters are memes.
Seconds,
I'm telling you, they're memes. They're not real characters. The most backstory we get on them is a flashback to when they're kids, and Hector tries to drown one of them, and the other one very softly tries to punch Hector, but he's not really trying at all because the kid actor sucks. That's all we know about them, is that they learned that La Familia es toda.
Well, it's tough love. Don Hector teaches through tough love, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah, and he also taught them never speak and walk away from explosions, never look behind your shoulder, because it looks way more cool to the camera that isn't there.
So I did like this. I did like that we're going to get the dude who could break into the photocopier place. That also the cousins were there doing shit with that vet dude.
Oh yeah. Like the vet is just like the writer's excuse for, okay, we need a character who knows every criminal in the area. Okay, so Mike's gonna meet him.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Walt wasn't working with him at some point in Breaking Bad. Like he's probably gonna die if Walt never met him, actually, unless he's.
I do think that a criminal element would rely on a character like that, and if he got work through one source, that other sources would then seek him out. I think that's somewhat believable.
Well, sure. I'm kind of curious. I want to see Better Call Vet Man. I want to see how he, just a lowly vet, became friends with every single criminal in the city, and that people go to him.
It'll start with him going to veterinary school, and he's like the most perfect student, and he does that for 6 years.
He has a class with Gale.
Yeah, right.
Him and Gale are roommates, and they both get greeted by Gus Fring on the same day, and they both break bad.
And then the series ends.
Wow.
Okay.
Directed by Vince Gilligan.
Okay. There was something. This is slightly off topic, but I need to mention it because I'm assuming neither of you know about this because it's an obscure thing. But there was a promo for this episode that was on Facebook and Twitter exclusively.
Okay.
And it was, I think some intern, whatever fucking intern, cut it together in the Better Call Saul editing room. They must listen to this podcast because it was literally a 60-second coffee montage. and you think I'm kidding right now. I'm not kidding at all. You can look it up. It's there. And it's of course it's like a hint that Gale's going to be in the episode because Gale in Breaking Bad, he had that coffee thing he designed. But still, somebody in my headcanon, somebody was listening to this podcast.
We have to assume that Vince Gilligan himself is waiting anxiously for us to invite him to be a guest on the show.
He wants those bravos in person.
All right, let's get to the meat of this. No more of this meme shit. We got to talk about Nacho. Poor Nacho. And here's what's activating my almonds this week, folks. That we all know that the story of Gus is they killed his gay lover, and now he wants revenge on the Salamancas and the cartel. And we watch in Glee over seasons 3 and 4 of Breaking Bad as he gets this revenge and gets them all fucking killed in this epic poison pool trick where they all drink the poison and then die, and it's
Right.
like the most epic scene of all time, and I tipped my fedora and said bravo Vince 1,000 times. But it never occurred to me. I never thought, what if they added some depth to this, and that one of the people he's getting vengeance against in this grand scheme doesn't actually deserve it and isn't just a stereotypical one-dimensional bad guy. And that's what we have with Nacho. He's getting caught up in this shit that's not his fault, and he's being tortured by Gus, essentially, for something that he doesn't even want to be a part of. And that made me realize Gus is a lot more of a villain than I previously thought.
Well, I kind of love the, like, I mean, this was early in, but just like Nacho, who tried to kill Don Hector, is now kind of like inadvertently having to care for him.
Yeah, that was good irony.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this, Christian?
Okay. I believe that this, and I don't mean to say this, like, this is no exaggeration. Seeing Nacho's situation over this episode and the last one, for the first time, I actually felt like I was watching Breaking Bad. And the reason for that is, I think I've like pinpointed what it is for me. It harkens back. It's reminiscent of how Jesse and Walt were put into situations that I just couldn't possibly understand how they could get out of them, but they had to. So far in this show, like Jimmy and Mike, I mean, they've mostly just been doing cool Jimmy and Mike shit. But they seemed generally in control of the situation. You know, specifically Mike, I would say.
And also, to add to that, those two characters have infinite plot armor because we know that they survive to the next show.
Yeah.
Nacho does not appear in Breaking Bad.
The stakes, like, things are coming at him from all angles here, and the stakes are extremely high. I mean, he's getting shot. He's, you know, he has to answer to both the Salamanca family and Gus now. You know, just speaking at a shallow level, I don't know. I just don't understand how he could get out of this alive. Whereas with, you know, the other characters, even those, like, you know, the stakes aren't as high for any of the other characters.
He is like a lot like a red shirt walking around with the main crew of Star Trek, where it's just like, you know, all of these people are going to live, but he is the one guy who could so easily die at any point. And so, like, when they shoot him in the shoulder or something, like to initially do that, but then they shoot him in the fucking stomach afterwards or some shit. And it's just like, oh, you just know they didn't have to do that. They're really trying to sell this. And yeah, I feel fucking bad for Nacho having to lie there in the desert.
Oh, yeah.
This is Jesse Pinkman in the Nazi camp levels of torturing a good guy. And it is really torture porn. And me and Sheep were uncomfortable watching it because I was like, wow, that's a realistic looking bullet wound. Nacho doesn't deserve this shit. What the fuck? That poor man. I feel so bad for Nacho now.
Yeah, and then he's being taken to a vet and is hooked up to do the blood transfusion and shit.
Yeah.
Now, he literally has Salamanca blood flowing through his veins now.
They're blood brothers now. Oh, man.
It's too deep for me. You guys have any other thoughts on this? Any other thoughts on any scene from the episode? I think we're winding down.
I feel like we should talk about Gale a little bit because I wasn't actually expecting to see Gale.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think that the show has fallen into some sort of weird time vortex because it takes place just like with Mike's granddaughter. There's no reason why Gale should now look 55 years old. He looks very, very old.
He dyed his beard, Mumkey. That means he's younger.
That they tried to mask it with the beard.
Yeah.
Beards like either make someone look older if they're young and younger if they're old, but it didn't really work that other way.
No.
Yeah, it's he's supposed to be 5 years younger than in Breaking Bad. He looks 20 years older. I mean, at least Bob Odenkirk looks much younger and healthier than he did in Breaking Bad. They did a great job with him. Mike, he's just like an old man, whatever. But Gale was the most egregious for me so far, other than fucking Kaylee or Casey or whatever that bitch's name is.
I actually think
Casey,
that Gus looks the most different from before Breaking Bad.
I share that opinion.
What's different
He
about
looks
him? Like
old as
just
fuck.
more
His
wrinkles on
hair,
his face?
I mean, I know his hair is going to be different, but his hair just looks so much different, and his face is so like lined and crevicey, and I just think he looks so different.
Yeah, I could probably see this.
Yes.
Well, what do you want to say about Gale? You love seeing that fucking dork sing on screen
I
again?
just love this fucking I do love this fucking dork. I love seeing him do that thing, and then he's also like trying to impress Gus. He wants to like make this pure meth for him, but I don't know. Is Gus really turning him down, or is he just trying to like string him along here?
Well, here's what we know about their relationship. We learn in season 4 of Breaking Bad that Gus funded Gale's education. So they've been
Yes.
in this like master
Cahoots.
subservient relationship for probably 15 years at this point. And I don't is Gus like some crazy puppet master who's just manipulating him his whole life, or is it more like Walt and Jesse where he actually cares about him?
Right. So yeah, I'm not sure. And also, isn't what's his name? Isn't Gale gay for Gus a little bit?
I don't know. Is he?
I feel like there's a little bit of that, like especially in that like master servant context. I think there could be some romance there.
I
At
think
least just from Gale's side.
There's a definite breadcrumb trail that could be found, I think.
Right.
Of gay lover.
Yeah.
Breadcrumbs of gay. Oh well, I would if we could, if somebody could do the research, I would love, not for masturbatory purposes, mind you, but I would love to see all the evidence that that Gale and Gus might have something going on.
Guys, there's a question
send
though.
me some fan art maybe of it. Or...
I mean, Gus lost his one gay lover, so he has to move on to another one.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, guys, I've got a question, and this goes all the way back to Breaking Bad. Why did Jesse kill that dog?
and if there's gold in the hills, why didn't Walt just go get the gold? Like, why is he so worried about this meth shit? What's going on? And really, why would they reveal right before Hank dies that his real name is Isaac Schrader? The plot twist is that he was Jewish the whole time. What am I supposed to take from that? This show doesn't make any sense. Is that it? Are we gonna end it with those fucking shitty memes?
Yeah, that's the shitty meme I want to end it on.
Is
Kristen,
Kim?
you have any final
Does Kim
thoughts on the
become
episode?
Wendy?
Oh, that could be.
I've heard that fucking theory. It's fucking insane. Goddamn.
They don't look
Well,
alike at
yeah.
all.
It's revealed in the Kim spinoff. Better Rim Kim.
Oh,
Wow.
I like it.
Okay.
How do we make that?
I think that's.
We got to make that rhyme with Wendy.
You can take that one.
Get a handy from Wendy. Kristen, do you have any final thoughts before we let you plug your shit?
Yeah, you know why I'm really here, man. I just, I'm definitely I would say I'm more of a fanboy of this show than you guys are. I love this
Oh,
show. It's like my
bullshit.
favorite show on the air.
How dare
What
you?
podcast you listen about it?
Oh, I'm sorry. The truth comes out. But no, I just, nothing else specific. Hope I didn't cramp the style of the podcast in general,
Well, if anything, you detoxified the soy levels that we usually have on these podcasts.
Oh, thanks, dude.
So I think most
Yeah, you
people are
did a
going
great
to be
job,
very upset. They expect they expect 99.1% purity of soy, and much like Gale in all his tests, you brought it down to 50-60%. Disgusting.
Too much
Oh,
chili
fuck.
pea.
Too much chili pea. Not enough soy. Christian, where can people find you online?
Well, I currently only have the YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Amber. Well, that probably wouldn't take you there.
Probably not.
It probably would take you to like actual, like archived
real
news
news?
clips of real Amber Alerts in the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah, what's the
Don't
deal?
watch those.
Why is your name Amber Alert?
Okay. Well, the truth is, I just thought it was like that's kind of a weird, asinine name for a YouTube channel. But then I realized that I can just say, oh, haha, I'm a lost child. Get it, Amber Alert? But I didn't. That's not the real reason. That's a reason I've retconned.
Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah, that works. And on his channel, you can find not only his short film that I thought was hilariously funny from beginning to end, but he does a bunch of comedy shorts that are they're like 1 or 2 minutes each. It doesn't take a lot of your time, and they all get at least 1 or 2 laughs out of me. They're good fun.
Oh, dude, thank you.
And Erich, unfortunately, we have to let you plug stuff too. Where can people find you online?
Yeah, people can find me on YouTube. Just search Erich and you should find me there. You can find me on Twitter at ErichKino. Mumkey, you're back on Twitter, aren't you?
Yeah, how many Twitter followers do you have, Erich? Because if you have more than me, I'm going to have to probably commit Sudoku.
I think 800.
Oh, thank God. I got more than you without even fucking advertising
Without
it.
even a day or two.
I made the account. I posted the fucking Thank Gnome It's Monday, and then I didn't post the link anywhere. And right now I'm at 1,400 followers. Didn't even fucking advertise it.
Oh, yeah.
I did.
Fuck,
I
that's
did
awesome,
nothing. It just happened. I think it's because everybody retweeted it in celebratory excitement. So
Yeah, word got around.
as long as I'm beating you, I'm fine. I still gotta work up to beat Rusty Cage again. He's all the way up at 12K, so it's gonna take me a while.
Yeah, he was very, very excited to be finally beating
That
you.
son of a bitch. I'm gonna have to post more. Think Gnome. It's daily, just every day. Think Gnome. I have to. It's the only way I'm gonna get more followers. I think.
If there's
I gotta
one
make-
reason I'd
I
block
gotta
you,
make-
it's that.
What's that?
I gotta make a Twitter account just to see those.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, you won't know what day of the week it is without those things.
Yeah,
right, yeah.
There's no other way to tell.
Nobody once told me. Hey, for Better Call Kino, I have been Mumkey Jones.
I remain Erich despite the protests of just about everyone.
And I'm Amber Alert.
And we will see you next week with a summary, recap, review, discussion, analysis of whatever the next... I think next week's episode is called Talk. Now, the rumor has it that the episode is named after the Salamanca twins, but I'm not buying it.
Dude, that's a zinger against the fucking show writers, man.
Yeah.
All right, Mumkey, let me pitch the next episode to you. It
Okay.
is just the Salamanca brothers, the cousins, and all they do in the entire episode is make a cup of coffee. And they keep messing it up, and they keep having to go back because they can't talk to one
So
another.
why is the title Talk?
It's ironic.
Oh, wow.
You should bring them on the podcast in character.
I know they've actually been the secret guest on the entire all
yeah.
3 episodes so far.
Oh wait, no, they're in the room with you right
Yeah,
now,
they're,
right?
They're sitting on
Yeah.
either side of me, and they both have like a gun in one hand, and then they have their other hand on my shoulder. It's very tense and suspenseful.
And you're just looking at their cowboy boots the entire time.
And my car in the driveway is literally exploded. It's flaming, and I watched them walk away from it without even looking behind them. And we'll see you next time with more Salamanca twin fan power hour.
Bye-bye.